We have finished the first 3 boxes of the template, replicating those first 3 boxes, and we're on to the 4th and final box. For this box, we're going to use one of the first arrow that we drew. I'm going to copy that, edit, copy, come back down here, edit, paste. I'm going to click and drag this arrow right over the template there. And I want this to duplicate itself as quickly as possible in this rotation. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple. Okay, so we have our original arrow selected. I'm going to go over and find the rotate tool, which is now hidden under our reflect tool. Click, hold down, and select our rotate tool. Now I'm going to double click on our rotate tool. But you know what? I'll show you what happens here. If we tell it that we want it to repeat at a 45-degree angle and select copy, that means it's not just going to rotate this one, but it's actually going to create a second one. Copy. Okay, so the problem we have here is that it's rotating from this point right here in the center, and that's not what we want. So I want to tell it that I want it to rotate around this center point. So I'm going to click Undo Rotate. And I'm going to go back to my selection tool, select my arrow, and now I'm going to select my rotate tool again, but I'm not going to double click. Instead, I want to tell it, now that my crosshairs are popping up, I'm going to tell it where my center point should be. So I'm hovering right in the center, and I'm going to hold down my Option key and click on my mouse. And when I hold down my Option key and click on my mouse, the rotate options come up. I know that I want them to rotate at a 45-degree angle from this point, so I'm typing in 45 degrees, copy. And remember that step and repeat function I just showed you with these arrows over here to the left? Well, we're going to do the same thing. The command for the shortcut for step and repeat is Command D. Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. And there we are, pretty darn close to what the template showed. I can select all of them and deselect my box if I want, and use my arrow keys to try and get it a little closer. It's just going to be a little bit off. But I wanted you to have an idea of how to use that, because you can come up with some really interesting shapes using that function. Lastly, I want to show you how to print using crop tool so that you don't have to measure nearly as much after you print something out. So I want to view actual size. Okay. Do I want it to print with my template showing up behind there? No, I don't. So I'm going back to layers like we set these up originally. And I'm actually going to click this eye off so we can no longer see those blue lines underneath. And look, it came out pretty darn good. So we're turning that layer off for printing. I'm going to go to File, Print. And these options pop up for me. I can see that it will fit on my 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I want it to print out with crop marks. So I select Marks and Bleed. I don't want all printers marks, but I do want these trim marks to be included. And you can see very subtly, these popped up here. You can see them showing. It adds crosshairs or trim marks for you, crop marks, whatever you want to call them. Those will be a great reference for me for trimming it out so that I'm down to the 1/16 of an inch accuracy when I print and present my work. Click Print, and it'll print with those crosshairs for you. And that does it for our intro to Illustrator. If you have any questions about Illustrator, go ahead and post them on my blog and we can address them in a future tutorial.